I'm still getting questions as to whether or not we're in the bear market. And so real quick, let me answer that question and then do a lot of work to elaborate on that. Yes, we are in the bear market. We have been in a bear market for 6 months now, but there's some work that we need to do in terms of what does that mean? Because if somebody's asking me if we're in the bear market, I know that what that means to them is very different from what that means for me. And let me just say this. The bear market is the time to buy. Bear market equals buy. Bull market equals sell. But so many people have that backward. That's the basics, the utter basics as to what you should be doing right now is that you should be buying in general, not financial advice, of course. Let me sprinkle that in there. But let me elaborate on that even a little bit more. This is a time when you should be more strategic and more active in your crypto purchases, in your planning, in your strategizing. You should be more strategic now than at any point in any crypto cycle. This is the time to sit down and think and strategize as to what am I going to do? Because there's a saying, bull markets make you money, but bear markets make you wealthy. Everyone who wins, not everyone, but a large majority of people who end up winning in bull runs, it's because they bought in the bear market. So you should be looking at this not as, shucks, I guess I'll wait for a few years until the bull run comes back. You should be thinking of this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity. You know, the bull run years when all the grifters come out of their caves and they talk about here's your opportunity to make life-changing gains. They were silent in the entire bear market. No, the bear market is your opportunity to position yourself to potentially make life-changing gains. We have it entirely backwards. So that's number one. Okay, that's the first point that I want to make. The second point when I'm answering a question, are we in the bear market, is if I say yes to that, I know that the person asking that question, what they're going to do is think, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to pay attention, and then I'll come back. Bear market lasts a year. I'll come back and buy in the bottom in the fourth quarter of this year. Now, okay, I have been getting in debates a lot with people as to when Bitcoin is going to bottom. A lot of people believe it's going to bottom in the fourth quarter. Others do not. I am in the camp that I do not believe that we are waiting until the fourth quarter for Bitcoin to bottom. And the only way I would see it happening is if we just crabbed, we just went flat for multiple months, for 6 months. And then on October 5th, the time that Bitcoin is supposed to bottom, we had a dip to a lower low, and that was it. But you got to understand something. That doesn't mean that altcoins are going to bottom in the fourth quarter. And some of you might have a mindset after 2025 where you shouldn't buy altcoins anymore and you should just buy Bitcoin. And I firmly reject that because of everything that I had been talking about that entire time leading into and during 2025, that the environment wasn't right to buy altcoins. And in 2026, the environment is more right. It is a better environment to be buying altcoins. It's not a perfect environment. It's not, the stars are perfectly aligned, but they're more aligned than in 2024 and 2025. And so with that in mind, let's just say, let me entertain the 4-year cycle, bros. And let's just say that Bitcoin bottoms in the fourth quarter of this year, even though there's a lot of metrics I could point to that would say that Bitcoin has already bottomed or that it's going to bottom soon if it hasn't. Do you remember 2022? In 2022, a lot of altcoins actually bottomed in the second quarter. All right, let me be clear about that. Let me be a little bit intellectually honest, or a lot. I'm not trying to lie or anything or deceive. It was the late in the second quarter. It was like late June, but that's when Ethereum bottomed. That's when XRP bottomed. The total altcoin market cap bottomed in June of 2022, and then did a double bottom in November. You could say what you want with that, but the major alts, they did bottom in June. And so the best time to have bought Ethereum was in June. There were a lot of altcoins that, I mean, haven't done much since, but like Polygon, for example, look at Polygon's chart from June of 2022 until a couple months later. A lot of those altcoins rallied really hard. Quant did amazing. Quant hit a peak in 2022, a price level that it hasn't come close to since then. So whatever the case, there's an opportunity right now. Even let's just say, let's just say Ethereum also bottoms in the fourth quarter. What should happen between now and Ethereum bottoming in the fourth quarter is a relief rally. That is what happened in 2022. After that bottom for Ethereum, it rallied, it did a 100% gain, and then went down to a higher low, which was your second best opportunity to buy, which was in the fourth quarter of 2022. And then after that, it went higher. And so why would you just simply have this mindset of I'm going to wait to the fourth quarter? That's not, in my opinion, the wisest move to make when it comes to investing in crypto, because we don't actually know. Nobody knows. That's a well-known comment that people will make in my videos. It's like, all right, so should I just not make any content? Or nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, there's patterns that we can follow, but nobody knows for sure. And so if we saw structurally with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, with XRP, similar levels to what we saw in June of 2022, then actually time might be shorter than you think. And so at the very least, you should be dipping your toes in the water right now and DCAing. I don't care if it's $20 a week, if it's 0.01% of what you plan on putting in on a daily basis. At some point you'd have to turn that up, but you should be, not financial advice, a buyer right now. April of 2026. It took me a second. You should be a buyer. That's what I am. I'm about 25% in or so. If we see a flush out down to a lower low for Bitcoin, I'm going to be much heavier in. And then I want to see some kind of a confirmation of that was the peak of fear. And then I will ease my way in some more after that. And given where sentiment is with crypto right now, it might actually be that the opportunity ahead of us is huge. I might end up being a moon boy. It's not a comfortable position for me to be in, but when the time is right, I might end up being a moon boy. But that starts with it's never easy to buy in the bear market. Never. There's always going to be people screaming that we can go lower. You have to block that out, because at some point they will be 100% wrong, and you just never know when that's going to come. So not financial advice. I've said that 3 times now. I'd be a buyer right now.